Welcome to East Coast DNA. This is
Darcy Walsh.
And I'm his brother, Andrew. With us today, we have Aquakultre. How are you doing?
What's up, guys? How you doing? How's everything?
Also known as
Awesome.
Lance Sampson.
AKA
AKA
FKA Lex. FKA Lex.
Lex.
Yeah.
There you
That
go.
works.
Keep an eye out for that. I'll have to add that into my Google searches when I'm researching stuff on you again.
Oh, you might come up. You might some terrible shit might come up with that name.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, I go right through LinkedIn and everything when I look for stuff, but yeah, maybe some of the stuff you're getting to ties in with Andrew's little intro here too.
Yeah. We all have those Keltons, though. The good thing
Yes.
about not having the nuts to put your music out there is that no one finds your old stuff. It's all
Yes.
in a delete folder on my computer.
Yeah.
So I hear that I heard the intro song. So did you guys make that together, or Andrew, was that you who made that?
That was me
Discuss
that made
the
that.
concept and then Andrew. Yeah.
Yeah, discuss concept. We kind of decided what we wanted to do, and then I wrote it and
Nice.
recorded it. And then the last part, I found a Morse code simulator thing online. So
Yeah.
I spelled out East Coast DNA, threw that into the Morse code thing, got the Morse code for it, ran it through a fuzz pedal into my Focusrite and recorded that. And that's how we got that last bit there. So
That's pretty cool.
thought it'd be,
I
because
like it.
we thought like radio transmission kind of whole thing.
Yeah,
So,
like newsreels and
Yeah.
I like that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So we're checking out on Bandcamp. It says that you trace your roots through your childhood home in Halifax, Uniacke Square, to ancestors in
Oh, sir.
Africville, through the United States, and ultimately Nigeria. Your music and lyrics are a reflection of truth, the story of personal evolution, and your place in community as an African Nova Scotian. And I feel like that probably just scratches the surface of who you are, where your name comes from, a little bit of everything. So why don't you tell us a little bit about where you come from and where you grew up, kind of thing.
Well, I'm 29 years young, and I like my first 8 years of my life I spent in Spryfield, Nova Scotia. Spryfield was awesome, mainly because, I mean, at the time, like, it was still kind of rough, but it was getting to it was getting to a better spot. It was really great because, like, the community was super great there, and, like, everybody's parents hung out with each other. It was very diverse. Like, there was like I didn't really grow up experiencing any racism there because, like, a lot of folks, like, were just so tight knit, and, like, parents were hanging with each other. They're always drinking and smoking with each other. So, like, as a child, you could literally walk anywheres in Spryfield and feel safe
Yeah.
because someone's calling your mother or your father or your parents, and they're like, "Yo, Lance is up here." You know what I mean? So, like, I harnessed a lot of independence in Spryfield because, like, my mother was, like, super, super, like, workaholic lady, and she was always out and about, and only really home at night. So, like, I would always be outside after school, like, getting myself in trouble at school, like, pretending like I wasn't suspended and coming home, running around Spryfield, taking buses at, like, 4 years old, going to Halifax shopping center with, like, change that I found outside, like, just doing all kinds of nonsense for a 4-year-old, 5-year-old that shouldn't be doing. But, like, I felt safe doing that and felt comfortable doing that because just how Spryfield is.
It's just it's a tight community.
Very tight community. Like, I must have had like 4 or 5 different families, like,
Yeah.
4 or 5 different ladies that I was calling mom because, like, they were just super, super best friends with mom. They grew up with mom. And yeah, like, it felt really cool, and it devastated me when we left Spryfield because just so much of my friends there, like, I was just beginning to, like, you know, become myself at that age, like 8, you know what I mean? Like, I can remember very fondly, like, certain things in Spryfield, and, like, in being in school, and like, I just felt myself becoming the person who I was always meant to be. But then when we moved to North End Halifax, like, Uniacke Square area, I just kind of, like, felt super sheltered and, like, alienated because I wasn't a part of that group in that community.
Yeah.
And it was just different. You know what I mean? Like, it was very aggressive. You know what I mean? I mean, my first friend when I moved to the square, name was Keena Izzard. Shout out to Keena Izzard. Like she knew. I think her grandmother might have knew that I was like the new kid around because I lived on her street.
Sure.
And her grandmother was. I don't know if it was her grandmother or not. This is just me guessing. This is my theory. But like she came right down to my house, knocked on my door, and was like, "Yo, like, you want to come outside?" And I was just like, "Yeah, fuck it." And that was like my first friend. But like,
Cool.
like men, like boys, on the other hand, they were a bit aggressive. Like I'd find myself fighting every other day.
Oh, really?
That's just yeah. But that's just how it was. You know what I mean? Like my first guy friend. Shout out to Marquise Clayton. Marquise Clayton plays professional basketball now. I'm pretty sure he plays. I'm pretty sure he plays for the Hurricanes now.
Cool.
But yeah, that was my good friend, and like we'd always be around. We'd always be around, hanging and just walking the streets. And then I just remember one time our relationship changed. He tried to bully me one time, and I had to call him outside.
It happens.
But it was fun.
I think we've all had those friends. So we had to have that happen at least once.
You know,
I'm a paramedic and I'm in the city a lot, and I found the same thing as Spryfield. If you go in there, if you're not from there and you go in causing shit, you're in trouble. And everyone there really sticks together. Like if someone's outside hurt, it's not just us showing up with one person. It's the whole community's there, and they're like asking if you need help, and they offer to help us and carry things. And there's always, it's a good. You can just feel it's all family, the whole community. So
yeah, and Spryfield's still like that to this day. Like Uniac Square was like it felt like that for someone who just kind of came into the community. Like everybody was outside. Like you could go outside in the summertime. Like every single child was outside. Same with Spryfield. Everybody was outside. Nowadays, you don't really see it as much. Like I just kind of feel like the square changed a lot since I've been getting older, and like
it's probably not just that, because a lot of what you're saying too. Like we're both from Pictou County. We grew up here in Glasgow, and it's a 5-town community, but it's a little different the way it's divided than the city areas would be. But it's the same kind of idea with smaller communities. You get a lot of real tight communities where everyone's kind of watching each other's backs. But nowadays, with social media, a couple years of lockdowns and everything else, people are like not even paying attention to what the neighbors are doing.
Kids in their goddamn Xboxes.
Yeah.
Kids ain't going outside no more, man. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Like because I was outside all the time. But yeah, boom, I moved from Spryfield to Uniac Square, and I kind of just was like, lived in around North End, Halifax. Uniac Square up until I was basically 23, and then moved over to Dartmouth. And I was like, fuck it, I don't know why I haven't moved over here sooner.
Over in Dartmouth? Yeah. Dartmouth is a nice spot too, man. Tilted Tap is the best burgers in all of HRM. They are fantastic.
What's it called?
The Tilted Tap, right down by the bridge.
I'm going to have to go there.
Tilted Tap?
Tilted Tap, like it's slanted.
Tilted?
Yeah.
Tap.
It's right there where the... there's the bus stop there. If you come off the bridge and go left onto Weiss, where the bus stop is, there's a faux place.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, there's a vape shop or something like that there, and then it's a new pub. It just opened. In the pandemic, it opened, but we found it during Burger Week last year, and it's like they have fantastic burgers. Yeah, wings.
Yeah. You have to throw a link in the description so Lance and I can both go there at some point.
Link in the comments below.
Yeah. Let us know if you've been to Tilted Tap. And, it's it's definitely been a rocky road living in the city, especially like with like the neighborhood drama and stuff. Like it's always a thing, but it just was very accelerated as a young child and a teenager down living in the city because we're just exposed to. I feel like a lot of shit that happens in like the predominantly Black communities in Halifax is like we're so exposed and like so like taken into like the music that's like always out and the shows that kind of really dramatize like violence and police and detective stuff and like
Godfathers and, Scarface. Like, we really just kind of take in, like, a lot of folks would really like grasp onto that and just like would like make it their life and think this is what it is. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel a lot of that drama, a lot of that, like, a lot of the stuff that I seen growing up anyways, I just felt like we were so influenced by the music that we were listening to. It was just like,
That gives
Of
me the
course
next question about music. I grabbed whatever I could and made a playlist, listened to it the last couple of days.
yeah.
And when I first started listening, it like sounded kind of instrumentally, a little spacey in one song, and then the next song kind of had a funk feel to it, and then I heard some Bone Thugs in there, and then I heard some Tribe Called Quest, and I heard some Boys to Men, and then I heard, and it was such a wide range of genres. I hate the term genre, but it's kind of necessary when talking about music. But you have a huge range there of your that what I would take as influence for you. So what kind of music kind of grabbed you as a youth growing up in the teenage years that may have influenced your style now?
Oh yes. I mean, a huge thing that I was listening to. Oh, okay, first of all, it was a lot of TV shows that really opened up my palette.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause I was really like super super hardcore into, like, the first CD I ever had was Shania Twain's Greatest Hits.
Yeah.
So I was that since day one, right? Always was like the oddball out because I'm running around with a Walkman. Folks are like, "Yo, what are you listening to?" I'm just like,
Yeah.
and they're just like, "Man, what the fuck are you listening to?" So, like, just yeah. So Shania Twain was my first, and then when I was a teenager, like, I was. There was a show that, I mean, cause we had a lot of the greatest TV shows back in the day. You notice
Mm-hmm.
the TV shows back in the day were so great. Like, theme songs were so musical. You know what I mean? Like, it was just, you're influenced by a lot. But it's like, one show that I used to watch all the time was called Radio Free Roscoe. Have you guys ever heard of this show?
Yeah.
Radio Free Roscoe, man, probably like my favorite show on the planet. And like, it exposed me to so much. Like, I just shouldn't say discovered, but I listened to Coldplay for the first time watching the show.
Okay.
I listened to Reverie Sound Review for the first time listening or watching this show. Two, like, my all-time favorite bands on the planet. So it's just like, I was exposed to that. And then, like, just watching like anime, Dragon Ball Z and shit, like, it would just like, it would make me gravitate towards just like just certain like weird music. And I was just like that. But like, once I started actually going outside and hanging around with a lot of people, it was just like New York hardcore hip hop. That's all was around. That's all people were listening to. And I gravitated towards that too. So like, my favorite all time rap group is The Lox, which is Jadakiss, Styles P, and Sheek Louch. And that's all who I would listen to for the longest time.
I found them from All About the Benjamins. That's when I heard of The Lox.
You know what I mean? All About the Benjamins.
There you go.
That's the Lil' Kim.
Yeah.
But yeah, it started off with like, like very indie rocky. Like, the first music I listened to was super indie rock. Like, The Killers is another one of my favorite bands. But yeah, it was just like, I was just super exposed to all this like hip hop, this rap, this like the Nas's, like Jadakiss and AZ. Like, I wasn't really too into Jay-Z back in the day, but there's like all these hardcore street rappers, and like everybody around me was rapping. So I was just like, this is what we're putting on.
Yeah.
But I kind of had to, I shouldn't say force myself, but like, I kind of like secretly let people kind of into like the music that I was listening to, because like, we'd be at parties and like people would be in my house and they're putting on music and shit, and I'd be like, yo, we're putting on The Killers. And they're like, what are you talking about? This is what we're listening to. So like, I'd put on this music and they'd just be like, man, like, what are we listening to? I was like, well, cause this is who I am. So if you don't like that, then get out my house.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
We Andrew and I have discussed it on this podcast before too. We both had similar upbringings for music because a lot of it came through family and friends, so we were around together, but we diverged at one point. Yeah, we shared a wall for a long time. Yeah. But when we diverged, I kind of like how you were saying from TV shows. I used to really read a lot about bands and search through like classified ads for promos and compilations from the record labels and everything.
Yeah.
So I ended up gravitating towards some indie stuff just because I didn't know anyone that listened to it, but I liked it. So
Word.
that's where I kind of built up, learned a lot of that stuff. And then now that we do the podcast, we both decided right off, like we weren't going to stick to a genre, but it comes up every episode because everyone pretty much identifies with one. But yourself, you would be in the same category. We had interviewed Chudy back at Music Week under a different podcast.
I was actually listening to your songs and I thought, he sounds a lot like Chudy. And I was like, oh shit, it's Chudy.
And they did stuff together. So like I knew who you were more so from when I was researching Chudy, and then your few songs that you had in the charts. Like I doubt it's been out forever. It's still in the charts, and your new album's coming like any minute now. And the old song's still in the top of the charts.
Oh, most certainly.
Yeah. So we're all aware of who you are, but there's no genre. So you fit perfectly on the podcast because you're East Coast music, because you're from here. You're talking about community. You're singing about family and your values, and your influences are from all over the place. So it really fit well. But do you have the same problem that we had discussed with Chudy, with people trying to pigeonhole you into a label so that they can promote you? Like they want to say, this is Aquakultre, the rapper, the pop star, the R&B artist. You're playing at the jazz festival there in July coming up. So I mean, you fit into every category, but as Andrew mentioned too, even on one album, you're sliding between genres without really any one of those songs being pigeonholed in one specific genre either. So is that difficult, or it just gives you the freedom to do whatever you want?
Honestly, like changing my name from Lex to Aquakultre has given me the freedom to do whatever
cool.
Choose, right?
Yeah.
And I've always struggled with that. Like the first project I ever put out, the first songs I ever put out were very rap, hip hop heavy. The first project I ever put out was very singer songwritery, I guess, like guitar. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like just instrument and voice, basically. And that's kind of how I met Chudy. But like that project, it was like a statement for me to kind of be like, yo, like I'm not just a rapper. Like stop telling me that I'm just a rapper, right? Like even with that EP, like Water Temple was the first one I put out. It got like Overtown love on it. Shout out to Chudy Harris, because Chudy Harris produced that. Sure's on it. Sure, that one CBC Searchlight back in 2018. Safe, Dream, and I'm missing another one. I can't really remember off the top. But like that album or that project is not rap.
Yeah.
So like you had like Music Nova Scotia folks and like these like awards things, and they were just putting me in categories of rap, and I had to call them up and be like, "Cause what are you guys doing? Like, what are you talking about? Have you even listened to the EP at all?"
I did see they rejigged them this year. I don't know if it's perfect, but they're trying to recategorize some things and make some buckets a little bit more generic, so you can fit more people without doing that same pigeonholing.
And I think
still,
Chudy had the same issue. Is that people see him and go, he's rapper R&B. Unfortunately, that's what people were doing with him. Well, and then he had his hood up, and they're like, well, take the hood down because you look like you're a rapper. And it's like, it's just so it pisses me off.
I had the same, like, not for this type of music, but when we talked to Matt Steele, I was telling him it was the same thing. He was on a stage that was primarily country lineup that was not at the main site, so I made a special trip to go over. But I was like, I like country. There's definitely a few East Coast bands that I'm a big fan of, but I don't know a lot of it, so I wasn't really into the vibe. And I ended up leaving before he even played, and then I heard him later. I'm like, oh, you do have a country band, but if I had stayed, that was a rock show, and I completely missed it. So the genre is problematic if it's going to influence whether or not someone decides to check somebody new out.
Yeah. But we're gonna.
The genres suck.
They do.
Yeah,
they do. We all agree on that one.
Yeah.
We're gonna jump out for a minute and listen to a song, and then we'll come back and talk about where your music is today. Yeah. So the song we're going to listen to is called Morning Dew. It's from Sweet Serene back in Pictou County. I say back in Pictou County. Darcy's in Pictou County, but
yeah, I'm still here.
Back in Pictou County for me. And Sweet Serene is Leah and Kyle Sampson, Nikki Campbell, Michelle Tracy, Jay McLeod, and Robin Alcorn Martin. Anyone from Pictou County knows all those names. I know that.
And anyone from Pictou County that's familiar with the collective, this is essentially the collective with a slightly different lineup and some new songs.
Yeah. Robin taught my kids music, and Robin's dad taught me music. So there's a
yeah, but actually Robin's dad taught me drums back in the day there too.
So we're going to give a listen to their song, Morning Dew. It came out on Friday last week, and we will see you in a couple minutes.
Morning dew, sunrise. You know I don't like the sun in my eyes. Take me back to when I felt so free. Let the moon and the stars shine down on me.
Sky is drawn like a photo in a frame. How many shots does it take to feel sane? Another night gone, wasted in vain. Could have made it stop, we only have ourselves to blame. It's all the same like the air when it rains, but nothing will change cause we're stuck in this stage. It's all the same, another round of this.
Morning dew, sunrise. You know I don't like the sun in my eyes. Take me back to when I felt so free.
And welcome back. That was Morning Dew by Sweet Serene. And we're here with Aquakultre, as we mentioned previously. And here we are. So the name, the name Aquakultre, where did that come from? Because you changed your name, and you kind of changed your name to launch something different and kind of have that freedom. So where did you draw the name, or is it just something you came up with?
Okay, so it's actually very simple. Like, it's not any simpler than I was going to school for plumbing at the time, and I just love music. So it's actually that simple. Like aqua being plumbing and culture being my love of music.
Awesome.
And the follow-up question has been removed.
Yeah, we'll just stroke that one.
I had a plumbing question in there. You did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you also perform under other names when you're working with collaborators like Uncle Fester. You go as, is it Aqua? You ever do an Aqua Socks one? You do another one with Uncle Fester as well? Is there something you do with him?
Okay, so Aqua Socks is me and Darren.
Yeah.
Me and Ghetto Socks, and
Okay.
and DJ Uncle Fester.
Okay.
But when me and Uncle Fester actually have a project together, it's called Bleeding Gums Murphy. I still go by Aquakultre then.
Okay.
But it's only when I'm. Go ahead.
You won an award for that too, didn't you? Just 2020.
I think I don't even know. Honestly, I don't pay attention to awards at all.
Okay. Well, that's another interesting part then.
I don't necessarily care for them at all.
Yeah.
I don't really pay attention. Like, if I'm ever nominated for anything, like, someone has to tell me and like keep me informed, because I do not pay attention to it.
That ties in perfectly. That. That's something that I did notice from doing a little bit of research, but even going back after I had met you and Julia, when I went back to rewatch some of the videos, I realized, like, not only are you singing about community and family, but like you're living that. Like your partner and your daughter are included in your projects. They're part of it. They're included in it, and you're living the family first. Like that's a big deal. Like, a lot of people want to do that, but you actually seem to have an ideal work-life balance where you guys are all sharing in an interest and a passion together, but you're still being your traditional family man, earning the bread and bringing the money home so everyone has the bills paid. But everybody's contributing, and you're putting family first and making sure that that's part. You're not out there trying to get a number one single's great. And I mean, obviously you're getting exposure, and there's a financial gain to be a popular musician, but it's come through in your lyrics and in the videos and every interview that the number one priority is to look after your own community, your own family. And that seems to be the priority.
Most certainly. All day, every day. Like, if it wasn't for community, I wouldn't really be where I'm at today in terms of like my career and my like where I'm at in music currently. So like, I just always got to pay respect to that. It's just like paying respect to your aunt or your grandmother or your grandfather. You know what I mean? Is always having that respect for that elder, and like community to me is that elder. Mm-hmm. And I just always have to. Like, I try to create community everywhere I go. Like, any situation that I'm in, like any area, like a new community. Like, say if I moved I moved from Halifax to Dartmouth. Like, now Dartmouth, like, we created this little community here, and like I go to Toronto for like a week or so. Like, I try to make a little community there. Like, or from if I go to jail, for instance, like I create a community in there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's just like everywhere I go, I just feel like that's part of my what do you call it? Personality. Is like I just like to be surrounded by, you know, family and friends.
You're everyone's big brother.
Better out of me. I mean, because I'm 6'3", you know what I mean? I'm trying to look over for everybody. That's part of my personality too. Is like I feel comfort and I feel happy when I'm able to help others, and yeah, community's always number one, man. Like it's always been. Like music is a passion of mine still. Like it's still not number one for me. Like plumbing is always number one, you know, family, music there's been a lot of bonuses that has come up with doing music, and like the amount of people and the amount of lives that we touch with the music that we're putting out. But you know, it's just I just love to perform. Like, you know what I mean? Like that. I'm a very like like insular guy, I guess. You know, it might seem like that I'm very, you know, out there, but I'm very shy and very sensitive, and like music and being on stage has allowed me to really like just get out all that pent up anything. You know what I mean? Just get it out there. Like it's almost like a ritual for me. I get up there, I'm with the people I love, people who I can lean on, and we're just up there. We're just doing a ritual. We're getting all that crap that like the everyday stresses just put it out on stage. And like it just so happened that it really affects people in a way where it's like, man, this is awesome. Like it's changing lives. You know what I mean? It's helping people. Like I've had so many people call me from in prison and be like, yo, like I heard your song on the radio and it's got me through my, like it's getting me through my time, because music has done that for me when I was in there too. Right. So I'm glad that it's coming full circle back around.
I find music alone, it kind of lets you get that. Yeah. If I'm in a pissy mood, I got my setup all ready to go. My amp's plugged into my Focusrite, headphones ready to go. I plug a guitar in, I hit go. And I didn't used to kind of have it all set up all the time. I'd take everything apart, but now I just leave it like a room. It's all ready to go. I'm in a pissy mood. I just throw the headphones on, play some music as loud as I want. Doesn't bother anybody, and I'm good to go. So
good to go. It's therapeutic, man. It does. It does what it does for people. It's insane. Like instrumental music, just like listening to instruments, like it does so good for our brains and like mental health.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
And sometimes most of the music I listen to is like it's instrumental music. Like I don't listen to any of this like newer stuff that's so like I barely even keep up with any of my favorite artists' albums. You know what I mean? Like I'm just listening to instrumental music because that's what gets me through. Like music is in me. Like every day I don't go out the house or like any second. I'm always making noises with my mouth. I'm always doing something, you know what I mean? I'm always using music to get me through my days. And it's just like, I can listen to a rap album. I can listen to my homie's rap album. And it's just like, yeah, okay. Like there's skill there, but I'm not really listening. Like, you know what I mean? This isn't help. Like it's actually detrimental most times. And I'm actually listening to what a lot of the music is saying nowadays. It's very negative. It's not the best, you know what I mean? It's just like, I'd rather just listen to the instrumental.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings over some songs when I start getting into the lyrics. In general, especially like Halifax-based stuff, most stuff I'm listening to, everyone that's using music as a forum to communicate a message in Halifax is pretty much an open-minded, decent message. You're not getting a lot of crude vocals that way, but outside of our region, I go for music based on the beat and how it makes me feel at the time. But when you get into lyrics, especially with us doing the podcast, I've been listening to a lot more East Coast stuff as a focus. But the lyrical content, I do find the ones that I'm re-listening to, I can identify with a lot of the voices that are out there. With your song, I Doubt It, I know that you wrote that kind of response to the 2017 Halifax Pop Explosion event there. I was actually at the Pop Explosion that year, but I wasn't at that performance. I think I was eating nachos or something when that whole thing went down.
Shout out to nachos. Shout out to nachos, though. Chicken.
I'm very happy I was eating nachos instead of being involved in any of that. But
I wish I was eating nachos and it wasn't there. That was a very stressful time.
Yeah, so I don't want to spend too much time on it because I mean that was a few years ago and you've spoken to it, but being that song was written in kind of a response, and I might be a little wrong here. The message that I'm getting from that song, you're almost speaking to somebody that would be in a position like mine. I have a little bit of a privilege where I don't really have to worry about racism because yeah, I can walk all around Nova Scotia because I'm a white guy, right? But when I heard what happened in the event, that the performer was trying to create her own layout for the crowd based on trying like an equality thing, and she had a message that maybe some people didn't understand and took offense to, and then it turned into a whole, well, of course I can stand here, the fact that I'm white shouldn't mean that I can't sit there. And that was the wrong message. They weren't getting the point that the performer was trying to make. And then when I listen to your lyrics for I Doubt It, and I'm listening to it, I'm like, okay, I kind of get that it's not really up to me to understand that, because I'm not the black person that has that held against them. So I don't have to understand 100% why she wants that. It's her message. And if everybody participates, then maybe everyone will understand when she's done communicating. But they just refuse to listen to what she was saying and oh no, I don't like what's happening today because it affects me in the moment.
With all the modes of communication we have today, people are fucking awful at communicating. And
it's still crazy.
If you see something, you're like, well, that doesn't sit right with me. Find out why it doesn't sit right with you, and find a way to better yourself, and find a way to
and I think that is your message. Is
great point, Andrew. Great point.
Yeah. I kind of related it to, I was at a Tool concert in Toronto years ago.
Shout out to Tool.
So when I'm going in, I was by myself because I was on a work trip and I just had a ticket, walked over, and then they made me go in a different line, and I didn't really care why. But then when I was in the different line, I noticed that they were removing all the men from the line and putting them into a separate door. And it was only women going through the door where I was originally lined up. So I didn't understand what was going on, but later I found out that there had been incidents on that tour where females had complained about how they were being handled by security when they were being patted down. So to make a safe space for females going to their shows, they made a new rule that at every show, only females could pat down females. So there's no reason to be offended. But as I was being taken out of line and I had to go further back in the line of all men, I could have thrown up and said, well, why can't I be on the woman line?
Without understanding why.
But it's not, that's the point isn't for me to understand. It's to create a safe space for the woman. And the same thing that happened in the pop explosion is it was about creating a safe space for the people that do feel like maybe they don't have a safe space. Mm-hmm. I always have a safe space because I just need to keep my mouth shut and I'll blend in.
He's not always good at that, though.
No, I don't keep my mouth shut.
I'm worse.
Yes.
No, I'm the same way. Sometimes I just don't blend in. It's hard for me to blend in.
Yeah.
But no, that's what it was, though. That's what it was. Like, it was just like experiencing it and being there and kind of seeing like what was happening. Like, I understood, like, oh, this is great what is happening. But then this just thing happened where, you know, an individual just was like, just wasn't hearing it.
Yeah.
So, and I learned a lot from that. It was just like, I just learned that, like, you know, if you get in certain situations and it's not your place to, you know, it's not your place to even speak up or say anything, like literally just be in that moment and learn from that moment and just kind of wrap it. Yeah. So that's what was like that, the lyric of like, you know, just control the crowd and we got it. Like, that's just me like expressing to folks that are within that privilege. Just like, you know, like, just let it happen, and if it does get rowdy, then I need you to help out with calming it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just need you to understand, like, yo, okay, like people who don't really understand what's going on, just like kind of just make them feel comfortable and just being in the moment. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it was a very. Go ahead.
That's what a show should be. Like, if you're going to be there doing a performance, the audience. I mean, you can get into the show, sure, but the whole idea is to share an experience of that art. It's not to be a jerk to everyone because you feel entitled, or to think that you deserve anything different than anyone else that's in your space. You're all there for the same purpose, to enjoy the performer sharing their art.
Word. But shout out to the individual though, because they definitely sat with that and like and definitely.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? They didn't just like.
Yeah.
They didn't just like no. Fuck this, that. It was just like that situation happened, and I'm glad as a community we were able to really kind of get through that, because it was like there was some hard, real conversations, real talks happening after that. Like it was real,
and that's
we
the important part, that they talked, that the people did talk. There was a conversation about it, so it didn't just it wasn't just like something happened and we're not going to talk about it. Everyone talked about it, like it made national news. It was a big deal. It was addressed, and I think, to your point, a lot of people did learn from it. Because even myself, until I heard the message from that song, I just accepted that, like, I don't have a strong opinion on it. I wasn't there. It sounds like it was horrible. I'm glad I avoided it. But now I feel like if I was in that similar situation, I just need to sit back and let it happen. Just see what's going on. It's not up to me to tell.
Just make the space.
Yeah.
Just step
I'm
out of the way
not there to
minute,
tell them.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Let it happen and see what they're offering you.
You know, and it's like I kind of understand where I understand both parties too. Like I understand where the individual was coming from, because like they were employed to do a certain task.
Absolutely.
And it was just like, okay, well, I need to be here to do this, but like it's just like in the moment it's really hard to make the right choice. You know what I mean? So it's just it's just one of those things where it's just like, okay, it got very hairy, and it was just like, you know, it got bad, but it's good now.
So now that song must have resonated with a lot of people for it to have, like, aside from the fact that it's a very catchy song, I've mentioned in the podcast before, that's one of my doing chores around the apartment songs. I just crank it on a playlist.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah.
But the message must have gotten out there too, because that song has been, like I mentioned earlier, in the charts for months and months and months and months. And
charts? What charts are we talking about?
East Coast charts. East Coast charts. I don't pay attention. I don't check the CBC music charts too often. I know you were in there, but I haven't checked those in a few months. But now you have a new album coming out to follow that up.
And if your new video ends up in the charts, we'll let you know. We'll send you an Instagram message.
Yes.
Keep me updated, folks.
Yeah.
So you're shooting a video for that Africvillean Funk with Trobiz, correct?
Yes, that's true. Africvillean Funk. And like for folks that aren't aware, East Coast DNA heard it first. I probably didn't hear it first, but I'm giving it to y'all anyways. We got an album coming out July 22nd. It's called Don't Trip. We released 2 singles. Shout out to Forward Music for strong arm in this project, and Black Buffalo Records for partnering with us on it as well, to kind of get the physicals and the LPs and CDs and all that stuff out there. But we released 2 singles, Don't Trip and Lunch, in the last 2 months now. Oh wow. Because I remember, because every single has been like 6 months apart, or 6 weeks apart. But it's been going good. Like it's a project that I was very super happy to really start, because like it started during the pandemic, and it allowed me to really kind of like reach out and collaborate with a lot of folks that I wanted to over the years and built the relationships with over years. And I just always wanted to make an album that was like just super collaborative, like just super like, how can we make this thing great, you know, together?
Yeah, you have a lot of collaborators listed there. I was checking out the track listing on the pre-order.
There's too many to count. But I could give them to you if I really wanted to. I could. If you guys wanted to, I could tell you.
I think everyone should go out and pre-order the album right now, so they can.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I think so too.
Africvillean
Funk.
So you can get it on. You can get it on digital. You can get it on cassette, and you can get it on vinyl. But you can. There's also, is it a raspberry colored vinyl or something like that as well there?
Yeah, there's like a limited edition raspberry color. It's like I would call it like fruit punch.
There you go. So yeah,
fruit punch.
I'm gonna have to get that one, because as you mentioned, the Africvillean Funk is the next single that you'll be releasing from it, and I have my screen worn outfit hanging behind me from my small cameo.
Yes, shout out. Thank you for showing up on that one. That was a great moment, great day.
Oh, that was a wonderful day. That was my first time in the Africville Park too. So
and your mom Dukes was there too.
Yeah. She helped out. It was awesome.
Shout out to Mom Dukes on that one.
Yeah.
So
but that one's coming out. That one's coming out the 30th.
The 30th
of June. Yeah, 30th of June.
And so the people listen to this episode today, we'll give them a little sneak preview of that song here at the end of this episode.
Most certainly. So you guys, we got to direct everybody to East Coast DNA podcast if they want to hear it first. You know what I mean? But I don't know. You guys could actually have the exclusive. Who knows what could happen in the next week?
Yeah.
Things could pop up where it's like, oh my gosh, okay, this publication took it, or I don't know.
If anyone else does, we're still saying it's exclusive. We're saying it now. It's exclusive.
Unofficially, just from following local stuff myself, I don't know her at all, but I want to beat Tara Thorne to get it out before she puts it on her podcast for Tidal. We seem to overlap a lot.
Straight up. You know what? I'm not really a great podcast listener or being a part of her. I used to hate podcasts a lot, guys. I'm sorry. I used to.
Oh, I've been doing it for about a year, so it was before we made podcasts. So that's why they're better now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like they've grown on me, right? Because it's just like when they first really started popping up, I just really noticed, like, my God, there's like
a lot.
There's a million podcasts now. It's like, because I can't keep up with all this shit. It's just like I can't keep up with all the music. I can't keep up with all the podcasts. But like I'm very like, if I have a question about something, I have to indulge in it. Mm-hmm. So it's just like I started indulging it, and I was like, so much information that you can get from like certain podcasts that you listen to. You know what I mean? Like, and it's great. Like I don't necessarily. I would rather sit down and talk with somebody through a podcast than like be asked like the exact same questions that have always been asked of me.
That's the general feedback since I've been doing it. That's most artists have said the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like a conversation. Like, I love it. You know what I mean? Like,
it's just more,
it's more comfortable. You know what I mean? I'm in my underwear right now. Like, this is great.
Yeah. If anyone's watching video, he's sitting down. So where can people find you online, fully dressed?
Actually, you might even find me half dressed online too. But you can find me on Instagram, Aquakultre. Don't feel so inclined. I don't post a lot on it on Instagram. Facebook. No one really goes on Facebook. If you message me on Facebook through Aquakultre, you're probably going to get an automated message. I usually, my DMs are always open for anybody that wants to get in touch with me. My emails, I always check my emails. I'm usually a text message, call me, email, or DM person. As busy as it may seem I am, because I work a full-time plumbing career. We kind of got some touring happening this summer. I'm always readily available for anybody who needs to talk about anything. I'm there for anybody. Anybody can hit me up at any time. We can talk. Big
Brother's listening.
Big Brother's listening.
In a good way, not the government way.
Yeah, in a good way. I'm very, community has always been number one for me. And if anybody needs a hand with anything, just always reach out. I'm just 13 minutes away at any point where I'm at in this city. So like, I am very willing and able to get to people if they really need me or if they need help with anything. Perfect. And that goes for anything. I'm also a plumber. So if your toilet is backed up, holla at me.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect. And if anyone's looking for us online, you can find a link to our link tree in the description or the show notes, depending on how you're watching or listening to this. We have a Discord and we have a Facebook group. Facebook group seems to be picking up a lot quicker than the Discord did, but we had someone got a business card from Sunrise Records the other day in Halifax and jumped in on the Discord. They followed the link and they joined in. So there's still some people trickling in there. We'll see how that goes.
Do you guys like Discord though?
I use it quite often with another guitar group that I'm in. With us, it's not really picking up. We were hoping to pick up more. So
yeah,
Discord's awesome for like sending files.
Yeah. It has a lot of potential. We just didn't have an audience there yet, so we'll have to revisit it.
Discord is crazy. Like, I actually met, like, one of the last songs on the album is called Caramel.
Yep.
I met someone through Discord, and we all collaborated through Discord on that last track.
Oh, perfect.
Cool.
Perfect.
Yeah, Caramel. Shout out to DJ Shadell and Fidel Gabriel.
Sweet.
Awesome.
So yeah,
That's something
see,
we'll have
Discord's
to
cool.
explore
Come
the
join us in
future.
the Discord. But for now, we're gonna
Discord's awesome.
head out and we're gonna listen to Africvillean Funk with Trobiz, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
Watch out, this got the pain job. Don't get saltier than a lamb chop. I know you feel it, so get out of your seat. Come on. Ancestry, you make your fine tingle. Big old booty, you make your eye linger. I laugh because you're rolling with me. We gonna smash it up. Tell somebody about it, cause I don't think they tag is us. Tell my baby to bag it up. Matter of fact, he talking shit, can you bag it up? Smash it up. Tell somebody about it, cause I don't think they tag is us. Tell my baby to bag it up. Matter of fact, you talking shit, but can you bag it up? Bag it up. We got the Africvillean Funk. Come on now. We got the Africvillean Funk. We got the Africvillean Funk. We got the Africvillean Funk. CFL playing a running back. You about to give me a heart attack. George Dixon and knock a brother back. But you're pressing a reawakening, come hunting for that. Nah, stop playing with me. No matter your skin color, just enjoy the beat. Who that brother that just destroyed the feast? Keep it moving, I'll have you sweating to the floor to keep. Now clap your hands with me. We got the Africvillean Funk. Nah, 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 nah. Come on now. Whoa. We got the Africvillean Funk. We got the Africvillean Funk. Nah, nah, nah. Come on now. Wait. We got the Africvillean Funk. We got the Africvillean Funk. Nah, 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 nah. We got the Africvillean Funk. We got the Africvillean Funk. We got the Africvillean Funk. Yeah. We got the Africvillean Funk now. We got it. Wake up the Africvillean Funk now. Stop sleeping. Wake up the Africvillean Funk now. Clap your hands with me. Come on. Wake up the Africvillean Funk. Now, if you got any drinks on the floor, please. Shout out to Uncle D. Put that shit back on the table. You better not have any food in your hands either, because if that shit get on the floor and we slip and fall, we coming for that head.